All right, what is up, everybody? We are live. Welcome to your daily dose of awesome. Your live 15 minutes of daily motivation, inspiration, and education, so you can get your day started right. Today's topic is a little interesting. It's if network marketing was martial arts. Here's why most network marketers would end up seriously injured, maimed, or even worse. And essentially, what I'm going to be talking about today is about what being a true master means, what achieving mastery in this profession actually means, at least in my opinion. And I'm going to draw on some analogies from the martial arts, and also share a story of something that happened over Mother's Day weekend, which helped me reflect on exactly this topic. And so if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Ferny. I'm a lead generation and online marketing expert, specializing in helping home business owners, that's network marketers, affiliate marketers, direct sellers, multiply their incomes using the internet. I built my first six-figure network marketing business within a couple of years of discovering the information we teach here at Elite Marketing Pro. And over the past 10 years, I've been responsible for over $13 million in gross income into my home businesses, and have helped our clients produce hundreds of millions of dollars more in their incomes, respectively, across their network marketing businesses, affiliate marketing, their coaching businesses, etc. What we do and teach works, and I would say one of the reasons why it works is because those of us who have built online businesses have learned a few things from this topic that I'm about to share it with you on. So, I want to make sure that I am live. If you're new to our broadcast, I highly recommend you subscribe on your phone. If you're watching this on your mobile device, you can actually, subscribe. So there should be a button that allows you to follow us and subscribe to our fan page. If not, you can actually, click on the actual video, and the little dot symbol on the top right corner will appear. Click on that, and it will open up a menu that will allow you to follow us on Facebook, and also turn on live notifications. So by following us, it unlocks all our free content that we have under our videos tab and the rest of our page, which in and of itself is extremely valuable. These are the lessons we do every single day, Monday through Friday. Sometimes we bring on 6 and 7 figure and even 8 figure earners to provide wisdom and do training for you guys. And that's free of charge through our fan page. You can also turn on live notifications, because you get a little ping on your phone when you do that whenever we go live, so you can either join us live or watch the recording. So let me see if we are live, and I will hop into what it is that martial arts has to do with network marketing, and why most network marketers would. There we go. What is up, everybody? All right. So as I'm gonna tell a story right now, but I want you guys right now, those of you who have already hopped on, I want you guys to tell me, in the martial arts, now do your best guess. In the martial arts, what do you think the most important skill you can learn in martial arts? What do you think? Have you seen martial arts movies? Seen whatever MMA on TV, or maybe your kids are in martial arts. What do you think the number one skill is that you can be taught, which is more likely to save your life than anything else you can ever learn from a martial arts teacher? I want you guys to share that. And so again, you guys are already chiming in saying discipline. I'm talking about from a practicality standpoint. What is the number one skill that can actually save your life? And I'm actually talking about a skill, like an actual skill. There's obviously there are things that are philosophical, like you guys are saying, discipline that you can learn. But what's the number one skill? Like, what's one technique? Like, what's one technique? An example of a technique is like punching, or kicking, or a chokehold, or whatever. What's one technique that is more likely to save your life than anything else? And I'll let you guys chime in, and no one's gotten it yet, but I'll let you guys know what that is in a second. I want to share a story. So over Mother's Day weekend, actually, I spent my entire Mother's Day weekend with my family, which was awesome. Yesterday, we actually, so my nephew and my niece, pretty much whenever we get together as a family, they become the focus of everything, because they're just kids and they want to have fun. And because we work all the time, we want to join in on the fun too. So I had a lot of fun playing with my nephews. my niece and nephew. At one point, we actually went to the park. So we went to a private baseball park that they have in that community, and so when we went there, we actually ran into another family that was also kind of, doing baseball practice or whatever. And my sister actually knew them, and they had actually played in her son had played Little League with their kid, and so we decided to just kind of practice together and hit some balls and catch and field some grounders, catch some fly balls, that type of stuff. And so eventually we decided, hey, there's enough of us. Let's have a game. Let's play a couple innings of a game. And that was a lot of fun. And so we were pitching. I was pitching. I was fielding. I even I hit a home run. So that was cool. It was actually baseball is like my favorite sport, and I regret not having played it more seriously when I was in high school and even in college. I played football instead, but I think my true love was baseball. Anyway, I digress. And so at one point, my sister, I tell a story of something my sister did, which directly ties into this number one skill, and no one's gotten it yet. So keep trying, guys. Tell me what the number one skill in the martial arts might be. The actual technique, the most important skill. And so at one point, we have one of the other teams, the other family's kid, in a rundown between second and third, and my sister's playing third, and my brother's playing second. And so he's like caught in between. We're trying to catch him, and so we're throwing the ball back and forth. We're playing pickle, basically. And at one point, my sister is close enough to the kid where she just starts. And my sister is now in her 40s, so she starts running towards him. And she used to do track and jogs on a regular basis, but she just ran and reached out to the kid and kept running. And basically, what ended up happening is she just fell over. Like she was running too fast, leaning forward too much, and basically couldn't reach the kid, and she ended up falling. And from my perspective, it looked like a really mean spill. Like it was like foam, it looked like a face plant, and I was like, oh. And especially if it's on the clay, the dirt that's on a baseball field, you guys know that is extremely painful if you fall. And she was wearing shorts, so she scraped her knee. And scraped her elbow, but that was pretty much it. And she pretty much left unscathed. But from my perspective, it looked like a really nasty fall. And she told me that even though she'd never done martial arts or anything like that, she told me that the reason she didn't hit her face is because she actually put her arm up like that and allowed her forearm and her elbow to take the brunt of the fall as she was falling. Reaching, with a glove towards this kid, and I was like, "Huh, that's interesting that you know that." And the if you guys don't know the answer already, the most important skill you can learn in the martial arts is learning how to fall, because it is, no matter what is, you may never get in a fight ever in your life. You may never need to defend yourself. Most people, most people in their life never get into a physical altercation. Some people do, some people like it, but most people don't. And if you don't look for a physical altercation, then you're very likely never gonna be involved in one unless you're attacked or mugged or something like that. But what everybody guaranteed what at one point will happen in your life is we all fall. We all fall. We trip. Definitely as kids we fall. Definitely when we're playing sports we fall. If you're playing basketball you fall. As you see, even playing baseball you fall. You're gonna trip. You fall downstairs. Whatever. Or you go backwards and you trip on something, or you just simply lose your balance. Whatever it is, the most important skill. The reason learning how to fall is the most important skill in martial arts is because everyone's guaranteed to fall. We're at some point in our lives going to fall, and knowing how to fall properly can literally at one point save our lives. And so in martial arts we actually practice falling. We practice falling on our face. We practice falling on our back. Practice falling on our side. We practice falling being thrown. And so, believe it or not, I know how to fall very effectively. And so During our demos, somebody would actually throw me over their shoulder, and then I just basically fly 6 feet in the air and then land and shake the ground, and then I get up. And so I'm so grateful that I know this skill. And depending on how you fall, it's always a little different depending on the angle. It's not always rolling, so John is saying you roll with it. Well, it depends on the fall. Sometimes you can't roll. You're not in position to roll. You can dive roll. So if you're diving somewhere, you can roll and tuck and roll and all that. But anyway, the good news is my sister knew that she needed to put her arm up in order to basically protect her face. And the way we learn how to fall on our face is we literally let ourselves go on our face, put our forearms up, and we turn our head. So you want to turn your head in case you go like that. You'd rather this part hit, and if it hits your hand. But if it hits the ground, you don't actually hit your nose. So you're basically, what you're doing when you're learning how to fall is you're sacrificing certain parts of your body for the sake of other parts of your body. And if you do it right, you're gonna even minimize the damage on the parts of your body that you sacrifice, like your forearms or your elbows, or the side of your face versus your nose. As far as falling, and so this got me to think, because in life we're guaranteed to fall, we're guaranteed to fail in every adventure that we do, and it got me thinking, like, network marketers actually suck at failure. They suck at falling, and just being unafraid to fail or being unafraid to fall is not enough. You need to have the wisdom to learn from that fall in a variety of different ways. You guys may have heard the quote from Batman Begins, like, why do we fall? So we can learn to get back up. Well, that's incomplete. We fall because we not only want to learn how to get back up, we want to learn to fall correctly. If we ever fall again, we recognize that it's happening, and we know what actions to take in order to minimize the damage. And we also want to learn, why did we fall, so that we can minimize the number of times we may fall in the future, so we know what not to do again in order to avoid that issue. And so in network marketing, the way this applies is, for example, network marketers are never taught how to take a no. So when somebody tells you no, whether it's about your business or your product, and you're told, no, I'm not interested, what a network marketer should actually do is after they've gone through an objection handling part of it, actually learn to, okay, accept the no, rather than continue to badger that same person over and over again, especially if they're friends and family. You keep, every time you get together, you can't help but talk about your business and how wonderful your business is and whatever. It's like people are like, oh my God, I can't stand this person. And network marketers do this all the time, where they can't but help talk about their business. And then when they talk about their business, they do it in this way where it's like they talk about the business like they're not talking about their business. It just happens to be what they're up to, and people don't want to hear it. Learning to take a no is the most important thing for the sake of salvaging your relationships. It's one thing to be told no, and your family member, your friend, clearly tells you they're not interested. At that point, when they tell you they're not interested, conversation over. They should not be hearing about your business ever again, because at that point, if you continue to tell them and badger them about your business, what you're actually telling them is, I value my business and getting you to my business more than I value your friendship. So not only learning to take the no and accepting, okay, this person doesn't want to be involved, I'm just going to be their friend, and that's cool. Learning from that, and then also being able to analyze, okay, why did this person say no? Did I screw something up in the process for recruitment, or did they simply just are not a fit for what I'm doing? So being able to take a step back and analyze, even in this industry, when you blame others for your lack of success, so for your failures, when basically every single time you fall and fail in this business, you make when people make excuses for why it is that those things happen, as opposed to looking internally and looking at, what did I do, what can I do better, What about this process, this presentation, or whatever, could I have done better? And you don't do it you don't do it in a way that where you kind of are self-loathing and feeling sorry for yourself. You do it in a way where you're actually looking back at the process. Let me know. Drop me a number one if you've had a painful experience in network marketing that you had the opportunity to learn from. So drop number one and tell me what that situation was in 2 words. Whether it was prospecting, whether it was showing the plan to a friend, or whatever it is. Drop me a number one if you had a painful experience in network that you can learn from, and briefly describe what that was. Because I know I'm speaking to the choir in some sense, but I'm going to get to how this also even applies to what's happened over the past week with some top leaders. So blaming others for your lack of success, and even leaders. So even leaders, as I talked about last week, where leaders were upset that some of their team members, some of their leaders, some of their top earners were actually using the internet to build, or they were building brands, so they were building a following all of their own that can't be controlled by the company. They were attracting people to the training. They were referring people to our training, and that got them all upset and pissed off. And really why they're upset and pissed off is because people in their organization are leaving. So even leaders are blaming outside forces for the attrition, and rather than look inward and ask, okay, learn from that failure, from having falling in that situation. Literally, people are falling out of your organization, and you're blaming other people as opposed to looking inward and going, all right, why are people leaving? What am I not providing them that is causing them to look elsewhere? Why is this attrition happening? Instead of asking that question, they lash out and start attacking people. So even leaders can learn from this idea of learning to fall, because sometimes we don't even recognize that we've fallen. Sometimes we don't, especially when we're leaders and we have success and we're making money, the failures and falling becomes elusive. So just recognizing there's something wrong in your organization or in your company or with your team, that you don't even realize that it's happening, so you don't even learn to recognize that you've fallen, and you try to or maybe you recognize it and you try to cover it up and try to pretend that everything's okay. And so again, the reason why in martial arts falling is so important is because that's the one thing that's guaranteed to happen in your business no matter what. And you need to learn how to not only get back up from the falling, you need to learn to fall, recognize when you're falling, which is what I just said, recognizing when you're falling, and do what you can in order to mitigate the damage during that fall, and also learn why you fell to begin with. So these are the 3 things. Obviously, learn to get back up. That's from Batman Begins. But learn to recognize when you're falling, so you can, somehow break your fall in some way. And 3, learn to ask yourself, why did that happen? Why did I fall? And obviously, I'm correlating falling with failing, because essentially they're the exact same thing from a business standpoint. And so that's the lesson for today. Be able to recognize when, not only that you've fallen, because for a lot of us, right now, drop me a number 2 if you've had an experience where you realized that you had fallen or failed in your business, but you realized it too late. Like damage had already been done, that there was an opportunity for you to recognize it before. And you just, for whatever reason, chose to put the blinders on, or you chose to, or you just didn't realize that something wrong was happening. Let's not even in your business. Let's say in your family life. Let's say at your job, whatever. Drop me a number 2 if it's actually ever happened to you where you were failing at something and you didn't realize it right away. So that's the toughest type of falling or the failing to recognize. It's easy to recognize when somebody tells you, no, you've been rejected. Okay, I failed, or I didn't meet a certain volume minimum in my performance with my points in my company, so I didn't achieve that rank. I failed, and that has an immediate, painful reaction, a painful situation. You feel it. You go, I failed. When you when you get rejected over and over again, when you put up an ad on Facebook and it's not working, and you clearly see it's not working, and you're not generating any leads or getting any conversions, you recognize that you failed. But I'm having you guys think deeper. Are there situations in your life when where you're failing, and you don't have that immediate feedback of pain or disappointment, where it becomes more subtle, and you don't realize that you're actually that the reason certain things are not going right is because you've missed the opportunity to ask yourself, why aren't these things going right? So that's my lesson for today. The most important skill anyone can learn in any aspect of their life, in my opinion, is learning how to fall, learning how to fail. And not only learning how to fail, learning how to get back up, very important. Learning how to recognize that you're falling and failing, and being able to do something about it in the moment, and then also asking yourself and reflecting, why did I fall to begin with? And what can I do in the future so that doesn't happen again? So hopefully that makes sense. It applies to advertising. It applies to our lives. It applies to the prospecting process. It applies to everything. So I hope this was valuable for you guys. I know I went a little long with our baseball story, but I want to look at some of the comments here and see when you fail, you learn. Absolutely. A controlled fall. So that's, recognizing that you're falling, something's going wrong, and taking immediate action to mitigate the damage, because there's going to be damage when you fall or when you fail, and then taking action so that you can learn from that experience. I didn't look at it as failing. Instead, it was just not finding the right answer yet. That is until now. It's due diligence that keeps going. That's great. Awesome. So that's right for today, guys. Thanks for joining me, and we will be back tomorrow for our next Daily Dose of Awesome. If you guys want to know more about what we do here at Elite Marketing Pro, go to elitemarketingpro.com or click on the link in the description if someone referred you here, and you'll be able to download our free online recruiting bootcamp that will hopefully help you mitigate some of those failures and help you avoid some of the ongoing feelings of rejection that you can deal with on a daily basis if you only have your friends and family or strangers to go after. We teach you how to actually build your business on the internet. Go to elitemarketingpro.com, click on the link in the description, and download your free online recruiting bootcamp, and we will talk to you guys tomorrow. Take care, everybody.